Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is your certified life and relationship coach, Coach Court, and in today's video, I want to talk to you about the best strategy to re-attract your dismissive avoidant. Thank you for sticking around. If this is your first time viewing me, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel by clicking that subscribe button and ringing that little bell so you're notified for the newest content. Before I get into the content, if you want my help personally, reach out to me on my website at www.fruitfulseeds.com and leave me an email no longer than 2 to 3 paragraphs long, no longer than 500 words, as it makes it really difficult to respond to long emails. And if you enjoy this content, if you want to show your appreciation and your gratitude for this free content that I provide, buy me a coffee. I'll leave that link below. Or you can also send me a tip. Tips are always appreciated, and I appreciate you guys. We are creating a beautiful, beautiful community, and it's really humbling to see this thing develop. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the best strategy to re-attract your dismissive avoidant ex. And I have a message from one of my previous clients. I thought this was a perfect message from them because I had already had the idea about shooting this video today, and I just want to go through it really quick. It's really quick. So much has happened since you and I talked. To cut the long story short, we're talking again. He came out of his cave and is chasing after me again. I think the distance and space between us was good in a way. I managed to gain my strength back, and I don't feel like I'm being needy anymore. I've been reading books and trying to improve myself, and I really want to become more secure rather than anxious. I've been binge watching your videos on YouTube too, quite a lot, with the little emoji with the sweat. Thank you for sending that message. That came right on time. I do appreciate you, but I think the real work happens when you have multiple sessions with me. I have to learn a little bit about your temperament, what triggers you, and I think, one session really doesn't go a long way. This was kind of a really positive one. I really discounted her session because she was kind of short on finances, which is okay with me. I understand it's COVID, but she made a real turnaround. She applied what I told her right away, and she came out with some good results. The first thing that you want to do in order to re-attract them is you want to back away and give them the time and the space. For the anxious preoccupied, that's really difficult to do because we are triggered in our anxious. Our anxiety is going all over the place, and when an anxious person is triggered, we tend to lean more towards that spouse instead of leaning away. Leaning away feels like it's counterintuitive, and we feel like we need to do something, and that's called the illusion of action. And when you are in that state, you can be getting feedback from anybody, from coaches, from friends, from family, and you just won't be able to apply that advice or even hear it because you're so triggered and you're anxious. But what you need to do, and I'm telling you, is to back away and give them the time and the space that they're usually asking for. The next thing you want to do is to work on yourself. And when I say work on yourself, I mean really do some soul searching and try to figure out where this need to have such an unhealthy of a dynamic of a relationship is coming from. What happened to you to where you feel like you need to chase after this person and become that codependent? And once you've gotten yourself to the point where you are far enough from the breakup to where you feel like you'll be a little bit more under control emotionally if you were to re-engage that person, that's when you want to re-engage. If it wasn't a real ending to the relationship and that person just pulled away from you, then I would say that it's safe to reach out to them right away, because the reason that we don't reach out is either that fear in us, the fear of rejection, that's not wanting to reach out because our pride or our ego is getting a little bit out of control and taking the driver's seat, or because you're so just frustrated with having to be the one to always reach out first. When you re-engage, you want to do it in a safe and an empathetic way. You want to look at it as like not somebody that's trying to do you wrong on purpose. You want to do it in a way that you understand why they are the way that they are. And if you're able to deeply comprehend that if I just put myself in their shoes and understand why they are the way they are, what makes them tick, then it'll be a lot healthier for you to do it in that manner. I like to use the turtle in a shell analogy. I don't know if you guys ever been to the zoo or if you ever seen a turtle. Sometimes those turtles can go into their shells for a really long time, and it's hard waiting around for them to come out of their shell. So when they're feeling unsafe and they're feeling as if they're losing their freedom or their independence, they'll go into their shell. And you have to wait around for that. And when you re-engage them, you don't want to be too hot and you don't want to be too cold. Because if you make them feel bad for going in and reflecting on why they're feeling a certain way and how to best proceed, then they're going to feel attacked when they come back out, which is going to make them withdraw anymore, if not push them further away. Now, if they were the one that broke up with you, then you want to give them at least a couple months. You want to give them the time to see you differently, get through all of their party phase or whatever it is they're going through, get to their relief phase where they don't have to have somebody relying on them and trying to make them who they want them to be. Once they get past that, if they do see a future with you, it'll be a good time for you to reach back out. When you do reach back out, make sure it's safe, like I said before. Make sure it's safe, make sure it's light and it's humorous. Because people, who doesn't like humor? Who doesn't like things to be fun, light, and playful? Re-engage them in that way. And if the communication is flowing freely and fun, ask to reconnect, because I believe that the magic happens in person. All this texting that we do and all this communication over social media, it doesn't show you who the real person is. You have to do that in person. You know, that's when the chemistry starts to really flow, is in person. FaceTime doesn't get it done for you. So when you can read the room a little bit and know that, hey, they may be open for a get together, then I would say go ahead and pull the trigger, because too much dancing around and not seeing each other isn't going to be in your favor. If the things are going the way that I think they're going up until this point, you definitely don't want to talk about getting back together while you're on the date. Give that time. Let them come to you. Let them kind of feel things out a little bit and determine whether or not they want to revisit this thing again. Don't put any pressure on them to be in a relationship again. And remember, you get no brownie points for the previous relationship, no matter how long you were together. The courtship has to start all over again. You have to re-attract them the same way that you did before. So if you found this video of any value, please like, comment, and share. Reach out to me on my other social media accounts. Twitter is Coach Court 2, Instagram is I Am Coach Court, and Facebook is I Am Coach Court. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you soon.